In this session, we'll try to understand what is label break and continue statements. So we have already seen one statement called break in switch statement, right? What break is used to do? Break is used to terminate the block and then we'll exit that block to continue the execution. So break can be used along with switch and also in loops. But what is basically a label break? So label break is going to helpful whenever you use nested loops. Suppose break always will terminate the loop where you write the break statement. But in some situations, when you're using nested loops, you want to terminate the outer loop based on some condition inside the inner loop. How you're going to do that? If you do break, it is going to terminate only the inner loop, but not going to be the outer loop. So that's where label break are going to be helpful. So we'll see that programmatically. So next is continue. What continue statement will do is continue statement will skip only the current iteration. So means any loop that you are executing, you want to skip only the current iteration due to some reason, then we use continue statement. So let us understand break, label break and continue statement programmatically.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Monk, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
To demonstrate that, let me create a new Java class and then we'll call this as break, labeled break and continue, or just a name. So now here I'm taking my main method. First let us understand break. So what do you mean by a break? Statement used to terminate the loop, right? So based on some condition. So typically we use based on the condition, otherwise it doesn't make any sense, right? So now let us understand. Suppose of a simple example, suppose I want to print something like this: 1 1 1 2 1 3, right? And I want to print 2 1 2 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 and 3 3. So now how do you basically achieve this? So this will achieve it using nested first statement, right? So now suppose let me write the code for this. For I'm now selecting int I is equal to 1 here. So guys, basically the loop counters we use I, J, K, which are the standard practices for loop counters, because this will initialize the loops, right? So here we're not going to take any specific numbers, so that's why we are using this I, J, K, L, especially only for loop counters. Then I'll say I less than or equal to 3, right? So this is for this one, 1, 2 and then 3, the outer block, right? Now I'm going to say I plus plus. Now I'm now going to create another for int j is equal to 1 and j less than or equal to 3, j plus plus, right? So now this j is from this 1 2 3. So when I is 1, I need to increment the j value from 1 to 3, and then again when I is 2, again j should be reinitialized to 1 and then incremented till 3. So that's why I just took a nested for loop, and then let me print s out, right? I plus some space with j, right? So this basically prints me this output. So let me first run this. Okay, so now you see what is the output I got: 1 1 1 2 1 3 2 1 2 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 3 3. Guys, spend some time in understanding how nested loops will work. So take a pen and paper and try to write the values, how they will be incremented, how the loop will execute, when the loop will terminate, which will give you very much hands-on of using these first statements in real time. So This is not our case. Here we are not using any break or not label break and all the stuff. So now what is my situation here is, now I want to terminate the loop whenever the value of I is 2 and then j is 3. Example, so when the I value is 2 and j value is 3, I want to terminate this entire loop. Okay. Now let us first try to understand what basically it will do. Okay. Now if I'm writing an if condition inside this, so what is the condition I want to check? If I is 2 and j is 3, right? So now I equals to 2 and j is 3, I want to terminate, right? So to terminate, what I'm using first is, let us say, break. Okay. Now guys, first try to understand what I'm trying to do here is, I just created break here. So let us understand how it will work. So first it will print from 1 when I is 1 and j will be incremented from 1 to 3. So none of the times the condition is true. So it will print from 1 to 3 for me. When I is 2, j is 1, condition is false. So it will print 2 1, 2 2 also. But when it is 2 3, what I did, I just asked it to break. When I asked it to break, I have written this break inside this for. Right, this is what is a nested for, the inner for. So break always will terminate the inner for, means it terminates this, means it won't print 2 and 3, right? When it's 2 and 3, it is breaking, so it terminates, it won't print this, it won't execute this code. Then what basically happens, it terminates this, and when it goes to this I, and it will be 3 again. So now 3 1, 3 2, 3 3, this condition will be false when I is 3, so it does not break, it will print. So except 2 3, it is going to print everything, because that is what is my condition is all about. So now let me run this. So when I run this, what basically happens, you see here 1 1 1 2 1 3 it printed, 2 1 2 2 it printed, but when it is 2 and 3, it break the inner loop, right? So then it continued the outer loop again, but that is not my case, right? So what I need to do, when the value is 2 and 3, I want to terminate the whole loop. Is it possible just by using break? No. So then we use label break, right? So now here, this is just break, breaks the inner loop, right? So this is what is the just break, right? I will just write this. So now let us understand how the label break will work, right? So now I'll say label break. So now if you want to terminate the outer loop, right, based on some condition in the inner loop, then we can use label break. So what do you mean by this? It's the same code, I'll put it here, but in label break we'll give labels for the loops. Means here I'm just giving a label. Label should be a valid identifier. Example, suppose I'm giving outer, or you can give any name, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, whatever. Then I'm giving this as inner one. Okay. So since this is an inner loop, I'm just giving it as an inner one. And now if, right, if this is true, what I'm going to do is I'm now breaking it, right? How do I do this? So now this is what is my outer loop where it is closed. Now instead of just writing break here, the label break always will be use break by the label. So now what is a break here? I want to break the outer loop, break the outer loop now. So means whenever I is 2 and j is 3, it completely terminates your outer block or outer loop, right? So whatever you want to terminate, you can give it, right? So now let us see how this basically works. So now let me run this to see. Now first, this is what is break did, but label break actually when it is 2 and 3, it terminated outer itself. Means what? It completely comes out of the outer block. So this is going to help us whenever you want to terminate the whole loops operation based on certain condition inside your inner loops. Instead of using normal break, we can use break with label. That is why it is called as label break, right? Now let us understand the continue statement. What do you mean by a continue statement? So continue statement basically skips only the current iteration. So whatever the current iteration that it is executing, it will just skip only the current iteration. Now let us understand this. So now what I want to do is, I don't want to print this 1, 2, 1, 3 the whole thing, but I want to skip whenever I and j is equal to same. Means when I value is equal to j value, I don't want to print. Means I want to skip only the current iteration. So in this case, how do you do this? So now I'm just writing this with the continue statement. Okay, as you can use it in any situation where you want to skip only the current iteration. Just I'm using this for this code. Okay, I will copy this and paste it here because the code is going to be same or the logic is going to be same. But here I don't want to use break. What I want to do, the logic here is if I equals to j, if I value and j value is same, then just do continue, that's it. Okay, so guys, here if you can see, I'm not using any curly braces because I have only one statement which is depend on the condition. Okay, here also you can see that I'm using only one statement on this condition. This is an independent statement, right? So now continue basically skips only the current iteration when the values are same. Now we'll see what is the output that we'll get. So when I and j 1 and 1, it skipped. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. When it is 2, 2, it just skips the current iteration. Continue the loop 2, 3. Then 3, 1, 3, 2. When this is 3, 3, it again skips. But when this is 3, it becomes 4, it ends the loop, and when I becomes 4, it ends the loop. So this is how basically the continue will work. So it is very important to know the difference between label, break, and continue.